Good morning. It's Market Day Report. We're up in trading. We've got a full week of trade, and we're doing it on the heels of a weekly. Let's try that again. A World Ag Supply Demand Estimates report, or WASDE report, that we got out on Friday. So we have those numbers. Now we have crop progress. We'll have those later today, and we'll be able to trade some of that report maybe tomorrow. But what do we trade right now? Let's go to the corn market before we start breaking this down with Tommy Grisafi. We remain in positive territory. You know, we slipped in the overnight session, and the December ended up coming back up to 415, up 2 3/4 cents. Now to the bean trade, and the November contract here at 10.10, up 2 3/4 cents. Wheat market, we'll start with Chicago. September most active, down 2, 543. And the September for hard red is 2 ticks lower, 523 3/4. And the cotton market is 40 points higher, 67.82. All right, let's go to Tommy Grisafi with Nesvick Trading. All right, Tommy, numbers are out from USDA. We traded some of that on Friday. Will we trade any today?
Yeah, I think we traded again a little bit on the open last night. Some people just seeing favorable weather and big yield potential. Nice to see a turnaround. Nice, Tony, that we could see a down 5, up 5. That's about as much volatility as we're going to see until something changes. That would have to be big demand or a lack of demand. I think we'll see the big demand. We're actually seeing it. And many people looked at those numbers on Friday and said, those are kind of friendly corn when you look at the world stocks, the ending carry. Then other people looked at weather models, and we're coming into pollination here with actually cooler temps. We'll be watching Jeff's weather forecast, but the temperatures look good. I've traveled through Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, North Dakota. Crops look amazing. Everyone wants to act like it's a secret that crops are good. I'm actually seeing people put a spin on it that if yields are down, it'll be because too much rain. But I'm not so sure I'd bet on that horse in that race, Tony. So we're going to go with let's prepare for a big crop till further notice, my friend.
Yeah, I think you hit on good points there. You know, when it comes to the yield side, obviously the price, we've got price pressure right now. And with a big crop, maybe some producers could yield their way through.
Yeah. I talked to a client in Iowa, and they said even with 250 yield, they would barely break even this year. Last year, they yielded 240. Yeah, sure, 260 yield would help, but just a little bit. We're talking big bushels, lower prices, wide basis. We're going to need something to turn it around. And I don't think the government wants a tip from, I don't think the farmer wants the government money, but they're going to have to take it because we're going to be a deficit here in so many ways here. You know, Tony, when I'm up in North Dakota, I actually sit at a bank. So it's interesting to see clients come in, talk to their banker, talk to myself, and then evaluate the situation. But we're burning cash out here in ag country.
Let's take a break. We'll be back in a moment with livestock futures. Market Day Report continues after this. 15% gain in the live cattle market year to date, 24% gain for feeders. And then the hogs have been up 31%. Those are year-to-date gains, but where do we start the trade today? Well, we're in the red for live cattle. August down $1.12 at 221.07, and that's with cash sales last week in the South 228 to 230, mostly at 230, and then the North 238 to 241, mostly at 240. So to the feeder market, again, feeders up 4% week over week, up 6% for the month, 24% higher year to date. September is now down 267. It leads all contracts at 322.72, but front month August, $3 lower, 322.25. And over to the hogs, they were lower Friday and lower today. August 104.15, it's off 52. Let's go back to Tommy Grisafi, Nesvick Trading. All right, thoughts here.
We had an incredibly strong Thursday move. where we had that big move in cattle, that gap opened higher and then closed a little lower, and then we had a nice recovery by the end of the day Thursday, and then pretty much steady as we go all day Friday. Closed on the dead high, made new highs after the close. We gapped open slightly lower, but immediately hit some selling here. We're right back to where we were early Friday morning. There's some people who say seasonally this is a time to be hedged up, manage the risk on it. All eyes, there's a lot of people waiting for that one really bad day followed by the next bad day. The fundamentals are solid, demand solid. I will say I did purchase some beef this weekend, and there's a little sticker shock. But when a friend lets you stay at their lake house all weekend, it's probably not best to show up with salad, right? So you got to bring something nice, and they appreciate it all. But we grilled a little bit of everything out here. But you go to the butcher, went to L&M Meats up in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and I hope my wife doesn't look at the credit card bill. Tony, back to you.
Yeah, speaking of looking at the bill, maybe you could pay it with this market, Bitcoin. Bitcoin has gained 13% over the past week. It's up 16% this month and 30% year-to-date gain. And as you look at Bitcoin, new record highs, right?
Yeah, big day Friday, big day over the weekend. Bitcoin had a big sell-off on the first tariff announcement, and it's since recovered. It had a big sell-off on the invasion when we struck Iran, and it's since recovered. It's a place to store money, and people are accepting it as a valid currency. We'll see. Time's out. Times, the people who own it think anyone doesn't own it's a fool. Let's put it that way.
Well, good points. Again, Bitcoin hitting new record highs today. Tommy Grisafi's with Nesvick Trading. Kind of reminds me of have you ever heard the phrase, measure twice, cut once?
Yes.